Can you believe it?
Fratelli, the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. Fratelli, the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast.
E benvenuti, welcome everyone in a new episode of Fratelli di Rugby podcast, the podcast where Phantom reminds us that we are late tonight. 4 minutes late, he's cooking some fusilli and we were chatting about a couple of stuff, how to use butter in the best way possible when you cook.
Yeah.
Mike, buonasera, how are you?
Buonasera.
Come stai?
Yeah, bene, grazie. Yeah, all good, man. I'm
You've been traveling.
Phantom with his like pocket watch just every couple of seconds letting us know that we're running
Instead
late.
of Alexa, you can call Alexa, put the timer on. Phantom.
Yeah.
is doing that.
We prefer fashionably, but no, good, mate. Really excited about this week. Lots to talk about, and obviously, one eye in the future, right? We've got quite a lot to cover off. So man.
We skipped the episode last week because you were around, and I saw that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had
that glass, Mike. What was going on in that glass? That
just
Guinness pour into that plastic cup.
Yeah, there was some absolute monstrosity. I was away with some work commitments in the US, and there was some crimes against humanity with regards to the Guinness that was being served up to me. So I just thought I'd share it with some of the Irish boys that are in the chat, and just make their day drastically worse. Frankly, it was that bad. So it was nice. It was nice to get away.
And some Leicester fans around.
Yeah, mate, they're everywhere. Leinster fans literally everywhere in the arse end of Miami. They were there playing golf, enjoying life, mate, 27 degrees. I was sweating. Going from -6 that day, dressing like it was -6 to get there, and I'm just like opening the oven door, and it's just like.
No, I'm in a fridge here in Bulgaria this week.
It's cold, isn't it?
-4, -7, -3. So we're in the fridge. Honestly, you feel it outside.
You had a couple of mid-winter barbecues, didn't you? Did you leave the ales outside?
Everything outside. You just came in, but this weekend we cooked some Bolivian stew on the fire. It was pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna give you the recipe too. And Phantom is just cooking some fusilli. That's the most important thing. Fusilli. Nice. Don't make fusilli tricolore, Phantom, because if not, it's the stereotypical things about Italian red, green, white, and red is gonna come full.
Did I make it up? But Phantom's vegetarian, right?
No, Phantom eats pork too. But let's dig into what the menu give us from the last couple of weeks. There's been let's talk about Zebre quickly for these couple of games, because then we have a lot to talk about what happened with Benetton last week and 2 weeks ago too. I would like to put a couple of commentary there, Mike. Zebre this week was a weird game. Quick, hard, the way Perpignan scored the tries and had possession, a good possession for Perpignan until the -70. Zebre were still there, 3 points down, but a great Abisai Nagalevo worked really, really hard. Number 12 for Perpignan scored 2 tries. Man of the match.
They just ran out of gas, didn't they? 70th minute. So like you said, I think Zebre are a team who traditionally always have to chase a game, right? But there's certain teams you can't chase a game against, or there's certain teams where if you're in the fight, you have to have some counter punches. If not, like you said, you just run out of gas. If you just let them have possession, and the best teams do that.
Best team
they hurt you.
like it's a little bit connected to how the way Cheetahs at the week before Zebre.
So I think we may have lost Otto for a second, but I understand what he's going to be saying. I think, you know, the Cheetahs were really like quite proficient at retaining possession, and like they were putting a lot of, you know, people into the breakdown, slowing ball.
Can you hear me again, Mike? I don't know what
I can hear
happened.
you fine. Yep.
Everything went off here, so I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
anyway. Yeah.
So you were saying it was a little bit like the parallels that we can pull are from Cheetahs the previous week, and then it cut out. So that's where you. That's where you
easy to score some tries. Maybe too easy. Talk about the second try from the center, from Perpignan center, the Fijian, and then that just cheap kick behind, and then from the running go after the long attack by Trulal 2 weeks ago, and then they counter attack and they score. So there are some situations that has to be organized. The team was different. If we think about last week, 2 weeks ago, is without Fratelli, which is something that this team needs in the game. We need, I think, a running 15 better than Dare. Dare, I prefer him playing 10 than 15 on it, to be honest.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. He's better at putting players in than going himself, right? Where actually, I think to play 15 successfully, you have to have a good brain on you, which he does, but you also have to be slightly more selfish. Unless obviously you're ball playing 15 as well, so like a playmaker, but he wasn't.
And for me, that Dare was the most meter made was Dare this game for Zebre with 50.
Yeah.
But there were also other players, right, Mike? There was Matt Sign in the team, something we've never seen this season. Some different choices.
How do you think you played? Rusty.
Yes, that's the word for me.
Split second too slow.
Yeah, like that. I mean, the best for the Zebre was Nasov. They had a consistent game when it was in, and that, to be honest, it's something that make you not smile, but think about how good his impact of his games are this season with Zebre. Like, it was another resource that come in and was really, really good. I don't know, Dominguez, a couple of kicks missed. For me, seems like I don't know, maybe the word is too shy, the way he plays. Sometimes that for me, but maybe it's so cold, maybe in the way he just play that I have that feeling, but maybe I'm wrong with that.
I don't think you're wrong, right? I think there's probably questions that we do need to ask with with Dominguez, right? And they're the right questions because we want Zebre to be competitive. Obviously, what I find frustrating is you see glimmers of like awesome, but then also like there's the consistency is just not there yet. And obviously, I know it takes time, but it's one of those where like I really struggled to see why he was kicking at goal for the past 2 games. I personally, I just don't understand what's going on there when you have Dare, like people who are and have been kicking at goal for multiple seasons, right? Like Trulla even like is such a good resource. It just seems a bit odd that he's taking up kicking duties, and like you said, that there's the odd missed kick, but actually when you put that into context, it's scoreboard pressure, which we're not adding, right? Like if we're going for penalty kicks, we need to be making those penalty kicks. If not, what's the point? Like we're just giving away cheap possession to, high possession teams, which can hurt us. So lots to learn, I think. And like I said, it's not just one person, right? I think everyone was a little bit flat yesterday. David Boyer.
Yeah, like it was Federico in the chat. His comment probably feel a little bit off in general this week.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. It wasn't the Zebre that played the Cheetahs the week before. So yeah. Anyway, stuff to what can you take away from that if you're Brunello? Otto, what do they need to work on? What's the positives that they can take out of that game for the UR team?
From this game, I mean, the point is that you were able to stay close in the game even if you were off until the minute 70, but you cannot, I think, the attention, because the 2 tries scored by the number 12, the first one was around there was a maul, he received the ball and he turned around and find space on the other side of the maul. That was for me a little bit too free to give away, given as a gift. And the second one was kind of like Nazove, right? Because he just pick and go, there was nobody in the rack.
Yeah.
Pick and go, and he scored in that
Straight
way.
through.
So that wasn't something that I think probably the focus is not give away easy try, because that you have to make it harder for the other team. So you start putting some question marks in their mentality during that game. The switch of momentum, that is something that you have to work on. So you need kind of work like that.
The last try as well was a little bit soft, where they were shipping it out wide. And then I think, is it the center again, where he just passes it, like it looks like he's going to run a hard line and just passes it, and they just coast through the 2 defenders. It's on the right side of the pitch. I think about 75th minute, if I'm right.
Here, I give you a couple of insight about what they did tactically. Was interesting for me, the way they tried to use in the first game, the game before. So I'm talking about Perpignan, just because we didn't comment that game, but this for me was interesting when they try to do these kick passes away. So in this moment, for example, Jesse is the guy that is gonna pick that ball, so they go far away to play, but this is happening even to attack in another situation. Like, you usually receive the ball as a 15. Think about like when we have Dare that does that kind of stuff. You usually here pass the ball and attack. In this case, Trulla give the kick pass down there, and this was really interesting to see. Then Dare running there and using again the kick. This for me was really cool to see the way they use it, because it happened 2-3 times, but was something. Even under pressure, this ball, the first try, and then Montemauri kick again down there to try to find the opportunity. So this was something that I can take from this game.
See, it's interesting you mentioned that, and obviously that works against like teams that have
a lot of pressure up,
blitz.
Like
have an aggressive blitz, but also it benefits Zebre, and I think it's not unkind to say it benefits Zebre because the centers aren't the best ball playing centers, right? As in, like, they're not the best playmaking centers. So it actually just takes pressure off them if we're going to be doing these crossfield kicks as well. So it's really nice that you picked that up as well. And I think actually, like you said, with the teams that have adopted that far more aggressive blitz and get off the line a lot quicker, there's going to be space either on the wing or behind, right? So
because with the hands, ball in hands, they pass it or they try to kick it. So something that sometimes you can try to apply to release pressure, to apply pressure to the opposite team. So I said, why not?
That's a really good positive actually that they can use.
So about Zebre, just we're gonna go fast in that, and then we're gonna have more information. Mike, we didn't say anything about who present their offer to pick up Zebre.
Yes.
So the news is that Petrarca Padova didn't apply for this manifestazione di interesse, interesting proposal. How you translate that?
So request for tender is quite a common term here. So to supplement what Otto said, right, for everyone who doesn't follow Italian rugby, this was proposed because of an original offer, which was in 2019, so 6 years ago now. where the owner of Petrarca Padova had offered basically what the federation are asking for, which is 5 million a year over the course of 6 years to take, obviously, the URC license. Otto, thoughts?
So what I don't like is the fact that the other team didn't, Grassi and Valo Rugby, that was the rumor from the closer area, is not there. So there's not all those money. There is a lot of political involvement. We also, Zebre Parma city, the mayor said, hey, we have some agreements contracts about the infrastructure, Stadio Lanfranchi, how the Cittadella del Rugby and everything in Parma. So that is it's tricky because there is a lot of people pushing and pulling. Around that, a lot of rumors on the social media about the way the Zebre are seen by the majority of the rugby fans. It's so polarizing, let's say. It's really polarizing. It's the most polarizing things we have in rugby is what we have to do with Zebre or move the Zebre. So
we've obviously spoken about it till the cows come home. And frankly, you know, if you guys are interested in hearing our thoughts, obviously we can link the previous podcast where we spoke about it. In fact, actually, Otto and I were one of the first people that just openly spoke about it on the podcast probably 2 months ago, maybe more now. It was during the Autumn Internationals, wasn't it? So it was a while ago. So I'll link that so that you guys can understand sort of why this has come about, or what, you know, the reasoning behind it is, all that jazz. I think, frankly, right, either, you know, the best case scenario was that it stays in Parma with increased funding, right? I think we can all agree with that. But if that's not the case,
doing some maths, they were around 7 millions, looks like. Per year for the next 3 years at least, something like that, between offer and how much is gonna use the federation. But we have to say also that maybe the federation is gonna say, no, I don't like this project, and
because they asked for specific criteria which they didn't. So for context here, the offer that came in, which was again just meant to replicate the original offer of Bansato in 2019, which was 5 million euros a year for 6 years, so 30 million over 6 years, and the federation were going to contribute another 4.8 million, right? So we're talking about an operating
6 million like it was before.
Give or take, yeah. So give or take, operating 9.5 to 10 million euros. They wanted it to be like that over the course of the 6 seasons. That was what they formally requested, as well as, you know, 5,000 seats, stadium, and which probably could have been part of the issue, if you're asking me. But anyway, there was URC requirements and then there was the federation requirements. They have come in, and by they, Otto, do you want to describe the person that's come in?
Amoretti and company. Moretti is the main sponsor of Zebre at the moment, and seems like he's in charge. He's the face in front of a group of other
local businessmen,
local business. They want to take over the situation for the next years, keeping everything there. There are stuff to adapt, to improve still. But it's going to be interesting to understand what's going to happen with few of the players moving on, because there's going to be players moving on at the end of the season. We're going to talk about that at the end of the season. So we're going to see renewal, moving players in case what's going to happen with that. But even though Otto said money have to be spent in a better way, and some foreign players they have to be better if they take more money than the locals, stuff like that. Everything.
Taken out of the political stuff, right? And this is the important point on the offer, though. The offer was, right, that was positioned it's going to be about 3 million contribution plus the 5 million to bring them up to about 8 million, which again, like that would put them probably at some of the better funded URC. But they were saying that for the first 3 seasons. And apparently, the owner of Amoretti said that, money's not an issue. So they're probably willing to increase, but it's not what the federation have asked for. So I think what's happened is he's gone for an initial whip round, got the 10 million euros, said, right, this is what we can commit to over the course of the next 3 seasons. And then let's see, right? Obviously, we'll see what the federation says. There needs to be due diligence. We can't be in a position where, this happens like Wasps or, London Irish or Worcester. We need to have something where if there is an offer, it needs to be something concrete and it needs to be sustainable. So I think we all agree with that, right?
And what the federation was looking for, in case nobody was showing some interest for the Zebre, was like, okay, we're gonna take in charge. We're gonna do a Connacht style.
Yes,
which can be seen in a positive way, in a certain way, but also not in the best way if you think how then things ended before the boost of the money from the federation, because there was a huge boost, and when they won the title, was already after the cycle of Connacht. So
the problem is, even where Connacht was doing bad or badly in comparison to some of the other provinces, is they were still attracting lots and lots and lots of spectators, which were helping to contribute for the player salaries. So there needs to be a balance, right? You need to have bums on seats. You need to be winning. You need to get like the local government, local schools, and that engaged. If it stays in Parma, right? What I want to see is the mayor, who has been so vocal about it, and the local businesses who have been so vocal about it, get the community involved. They need to get the community involved. That's it.
Because Rugby Parma is into the group too.
Yeah.
So there is they want to keep the tradition in a certain way, more to sell it, maybe more.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe add value to it for an exit. Yeah, for sure.
And Federico, sorry, was saying about the Barilla guy need to increase marketing for the company. Red and blue next year. Red and blue.
I'll take it. We'll go to the pasta stadium. It's fine. I don't care. Do you?
The pasta pack, right? So
yeah, the pasta pack stadium.
Pasta pack. That is perfect. The tortellinis for the youngest categories, something like that.
I love it. We'll go. It's fine.
Okay. Now, let's see what's gonna happen, Mike, in the next. Actually, the 7th of February is gonna be the new conference, the FIR assembly in Rome, and we will know more the day after. So with the victory of Italy against Wales, we're gonna know more about Zebre, right, Mike? That's right.
We'll see.
Should go. Hopefully for us. Let's move. Talking about the big news of the. I think was the news of the week for rugby. More than everything, than Toulouse scoring millions of try. L'applauso. It's for Benetton. Let's put the applause on. About being the first team, Italian team, to reach the playoff for the Champions Cup. Something that at the beginning of the season, for me, honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I was pushing more on the URC than everything. Now, positive everything. If you watch the game, Mike, your takeaway about the game, and if you want to say something about the Bristol game, how it ended up, your thoughts about that situation later on. But for now, let's be happy.
Yeah.
What happened?
Otto, it's one of those where we as fans, particularly people who followed Benetton for a long time, always wanted to see, that spark. What will the players do when the going gets tough. And I think actually something where in previous years, you know, when you're up against a big physical side who's putting everything they have out in front of you and like letting you know that they're there, we probably would have fallen off a little bit. But actually, to see Benetton on Saturday stick in the fight and actually, you know, sort of confident in the bench as well, which is something which is insane. Like against a really strong La Rochelle, they didn't look like they panicked at any point in that game, which is insane. And then just to come through and obviously win it in the fashion that they did, it felt like a bit of a coming of age for me, I think, with regards to a lot of these young players. And actually, it goes to show how important experience is, because I think some of the players that came off the bench were
exactly
sensational. They came on and they changed the game. So, yeah, I just obviously a little bit in awe of you know, the result, and obviously I know it's the first step of a long path to, you know, where they want to be. But hey, what a step! What a step! Lots to be happy about.
What I loved in this game is the fact that in this game we have seen the use of the kicking game. The 3 points came, even if we think about the missing kick by Rhino Smith, but those kicks allowed, even when La Rochelle starts scoring tries in the second half, to stay close to the game, something that was missed against Bristol. No, this starting of the second half, Benetton ended up really well the first half. Then you're expecting to keep going, keep pushing early in the second half. Bristol scored a lot of tries in that moment of the game, fighting back. This time Benetton 3 points, they scored another 3 points, and then I'm gonna add another 3 points, and then I score with the bomb squad, because Ruzza, Bernasconi, and Seb Negri, when they score, was in that situation with the Ruzza charging twice, the charge of everybody around there, penalty, advantage, go attack, and then scoring with Bernasconi, spot on. So good stuff. And I thought before the game that I was worried of Kerr Barlow, because he is a player that show literally what he can do. He can go by himself, finding the space and going in. But also that the Benetton backs for me were better. If you see the two teams, how they put the lineup out, you say, okay, with the backs we can do something more. And then because Rhino Smith did a really great game for me. Marin coming in because for the Monumental injury.
Yeah, mate, he was good.
You don't.
I actually like him as a wing option.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
I thought he was good when he came on at the wing during the challenge Challenge Cup rugby last year as well. Like, he's an option there, man. Like, he's a genuine. I know a lot of people, and I know, you know, a lot of people we speak to a lot want him in a particular position but we were joking around last week saying, hey, let's see him at 12 and let's see him, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, I just see him as a really good utility back, like just a really good utility back.
A really good 12.
He would be a really good 12. Like, he would. He's also tough as well, which, you know, yeah, it gives us options. I like. There's a lot more that he needs to develop, but he's super talented. Like, he's got so much potential.
So just with the speculation about are we sure Monumental is out, because now we are ready also with the focus on the Six Nation, but and then eventually Treviso decided to let him out. Of course, I thought the same this afternoon, think about maybe, you know what, we don't have to push him through. We stick with the plan in case he can come back for again if needed, but I think was I hope it's going to be only for that. Confident that nothing, and just for security reason they keep it out, but maybe it wasn't HA, but just a big hit. let's say. No.
Yeah, I
That
also
is-
think like when he came off, whether it was a HIA or not, obviously Marin was performing well, and like you said, maybe it was just like they didn't want to risk it, and he went and he said hello. He went out and shook a load of the La Rochelle players at the end of the game. It wasn't like he was, out or at hospital or whatever. He was there. He was watching the game. He went. Like
which is always positive when you see
positive.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
super,
nothing-
super positive.
And this another player that showed really good impact for me was again Zuliani in the way he attacked, but Cannone was the guy that bring the attention because he was really solid this week, really, really solid, and you want to see him a player fit in that way just before the Six Nation windows, as other players are showing. Because last week was also Vincent, great try. Happy, but I'm sad for the result. But I was expecting that Bayonne Gloucester with Mori scoring, because I see the chat talking about Garbisi, Mori, Bertaccini. We can do. Varney too was playing in this team, if I remember well. So there is all the line together.
Mate, it was a really good weekend for Italian rugby. Like, think of all the scorers. Capuozzo scored twice, right? Ioane scored. Martin Pagerello scored.
Did whatever he wanted.
He's found form. He looks electric. But Capuozzo twice, right? MPR, Ioane, Vincent, Niccolò Cannone. I'm sure I'm missing someone.
No, a lot of tries by ours, Mike.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. We contributed, right? So it's nice to see that we're actually playing in the top echelons of club rugby right before six. This is what's missed. This is what we've missed, mate. Like, we have missed these sort of challenges just before Six Nations. As a nation, right? Our players don't get exposed to that. They come in undercooked. We start slow, like we always traditionally start slow. And then, now it's an opportunity for us to take some of the momentum, some of the positivity, and even, if I'm young Vincent, maybe some of the frustration that we've felt over the past, few weeks and season, and go into the Six Nations and try and sort of like show your qualities. And I think actually, man, like, I'm just, it's coming in at the right time for Italian rugby, which is nice. Like, I don't think I can't think of a time in memory where it's ever been like this, where we're hitting the best form for our players right before Six Nations. Can you? Can't think of a single time, personally.
No, I was a lot of confident about last Six Nations because it was the right moment to arrive in a certain way, but not like this time. I mean, the team is pushing up. It's not.
Yes.
That's the even the benches, the other choices, they are trying to. You see
driving standards. 100% agree with what you said. 100% agree. It's just all moving up, right? The players which are replacing players are, a better standard, and like they're better than last year. Everyone is moving in the same direction, which is cool, man. Like, I'm so excited.
No, absolutely. And on the to go back to Benetton, what they did 2 weeks ago, I was worried about like the way Benetton managed to not kill the game against Bristol and concede all those tries in the second half, and I was worried that literally was happening the same. I'm really happy that they fight back in that way. But I'm wondering, is it because you were behind and then you have to? So you are the underdog, you are the loser in that moment of the game, or just we really did the switch where we can win those games because we know we are good.
Maybe a little bit of both, mate. But I think the biggest difference between Bristol and La Rochelle was the fact that we were really putting scoreboard pressure on them. Like they felt us breathing on their necks when they were in front. When we were in front, anytime they made a mistake, we were punishing them, right? And if you look at the best teams in tournament rugby, right, and I'm talking specifically knockout rugby, look at how South Africa play. I remember vaguely, might have been against England, but I vaguely remember there was like 3 or 4 penalties. They had sustained pressure. They could have easily have kicked it into the corner, but no, they're just going to take the easy three. Oh, okay. All of a sudden it's 12-0 up. Oh, all of a sudden the opposing team are forced to play, right? They're forced to play slightly more risky rugby, and just let them make mistakes. That's a lot of where we fall short in Italian rugby. It's just due to poor, game management. And I didn't feel I felt like we had the better game management against a really strong La Rochelle team this weekend, and I feel like
it was really good, and I'm so happy that Aldrit after I'm so happy with sadly they're still into the Champions Cup.
That's right. We've got the Six Nations.
So angry. Mike, talking about Benetton, talking about national team.
Yeah.
Christopher says, I will be fuming if Flamaro starts over Zuliani versus Scotland.
This is a discussion, isn't it?
Chris, tell us more about this.
Chris, yeah.
But
whilst
he already give us the answer, saying that he most likely will, as Lamaro is the captain. But let's see what is going to happen with that.
Listen. Regardless, and not specific to this discussion, but I will say this: I didn't mind Brex as captain as well, right? Like this isn't specific to this. I'm saying I think Brex is a good captain. Was Brex captain before Lamaro came on?
No,
I can't remember. This weekend. I can't remember. I assume it would be, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Gents in the chat, keep us honest there if it wasn't. But there's something about his charisma when he's talking to like a referee, and the way he speaks to the players and stuff. He's not a bad captain. So like, it's nice to have these leadership, like this leadership group, right? And I think he's one of these people where, Lamaro against Georgia obviously came off like that, and realistically, we probably would have lost that game in previous years because of part of that. But he was like quite it's quite a calming presence, and I think sometimes we need that because we're quite a young team, an inexperienced team, and I like that. But to Chris's point, I think he's replied now. So here we go. So Chris said, Lamaro is a good player, but Zuliani has become an absolute monster at the breakdown.
True. Numbers said
can't
that.
Disagree,
true.
can we?
I mean, to have these two players so complementary each other,
yes,
helps us. So we have to try to think more on the long, with the 23 in mind, because when you have a player that can stop at the beginning, with Treviso is different. Because you have more games, so you can switch it. With the national team, of course, you're gonna start with Lamaro majority of the time, because you know that who's gonna come from the bench is gonna give you as much as Lamaro in a different area of the game.
That's the important point. Sorry, just if I can emphasize the point that you made, because that's the thing that people forget. Zuliani is very good at a proportion of the game that Lamaro isn't good at. Lamaro is very good at a proportion of the game that Zuliani isn't good at. Like his attacking involvements versus defensive involvements and all that. They're very different players, right? They play the same position, but they're very different players and each have their own benefits. So what Otto said, different horses for different courses.
And let's remind everybody that Lamaro most tackle in one Six Nation, a record breaker. So that means something in defense too, in some way. But I mean, good for us to have these kind of issues. I would like to have more issues like that in the centers, in the locks, more like a Willems style of player. I want there. We have more injuries on that situation. So that's it. But there are the news about the players pick, because the fourth Zebre, Asa, Canali, who else? My God. They go with the national team too. Bertaccini confirmed to with the national team, which is something that add players to it. Is not gonna be there Capozzo for the first week because there is the name day over Nonna, I guess. So Belloni is coming in.
Yep.
So we have a couple of news there of those.
Just bringing it up now as well, just to compliment anyone else that we might have missed.
And then, Mike, I think the other thing is that for now, the only issues
Di
for us
Bartolomeo
is
was the last one, by the way.
Di Bartolomeo, right? For now, the point is that we just have this issue, this question about Menoncello, how fit it is, if he can play or is different, if he has to follow the protocol. If not, everybody safe, everybody okay, and everybody ready to.
What I'll say, Otto, is today, like we just said, is where they had the confirmation of like the rally, and if Capozzo's away from the rally for family commitments, Menoncello's been included, and I think if he wasn't cleared to play,
course.
he'd have to stay with the club doctor, right? So I think he's fine, right? Based on that, and this is pure speculation, guys. I could be 100% wrong, but I think if he got injured at club level, he has to stay with the club doctor. I think.
Speriamo anyway that nothing wrong and ready for it. Belloni, former under 20. There is also the new under 20 team picked by Roberto Santamaria, which is really this year. I think we are better in the backs than in the forwards,
which is a nice change.
My opinion. Now let's see if it's gonna happen something. But we have a really good center. So we have Todaro Ragusi that they play for the under 20s. These two players can be two players they can be national players in the future. Yeah. Yes. Other player to keep an eye on is Malik Faisal, the wing, really good, and aerial game. Andrea in the centers, him and Todaro are really good together, and I'm a fan, as I said in the chat with all the other guys. Pietro Celli as a 10, he played for Livorno, and he is another one that I really like as a player. And now let's see then the rest of the team, because
we have a baby Drago as well, right?
Yes, there is Drago, the blonde Draghetto. Draghetto.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah. No, but look, the team is look really good in the back for me, and this is something that I just picking another message from before, and then I went to see in the 2020 January 31st of January 2020. Wales, Italy under 20, 7 for Wales, 17 for Italy. In the team there were Steven Varney, Paolo Garbisi, Bertaccini, Mori, and Jacopo Trulla starting for the team.
Not a bad side, that, is it?
No, Giuliani, Cannone, Zambonin, Favretto, Alongi, Lucchesi, Drudi, and then there was Christian Lai and Michael Mba, the two Fiamme Oro wing there.
Was that 2021, did you say, or 2022?
2020.
Okay, so 2021. Have you seen that team?
No, that is like
top of my head. Rizzoli, Di Bartolomeo, Jon Nekulai. Ferrari was playing. Oh no, it might be Nortumbina actually. I can't remember actually.
Good game against Zebre, playing number 8.
Because it was Vincent, Ferrari, and Andriani back row. So I can't remember who but mate, that team, the 2020-2021 team,
they were
good.
They were the good ones. Yes, that's true. We went 11 against 13 against France. We scored 40 points against Scotland. That game was amazing. That game.
Yeah, what was it? There was Jersey and
try, all those try. Yes, starting in their own 2020. Those were something too.
Mate, that back row might be a full. It was Jersey, Pani, and was it? Oh no, it might have been Eletri. I can't remember who the.
I'll give you all the names. Albanese Marin, Jesi Menoncello, Drago, Vaccari Pani, with
Mate,
Lorenzo
Vaccari,
Annone,
that's the one I was thinking
Vincent Andreani.
What's the
Ferrari was playing lock that
Yeah,
game.
that's right. Yeah, so I did remember correctly. Okay, cool.
I found that too. No, come on. The team were good. So we need. Oh, this guy. This guy is huge.
He's a back row, though, no?
He's a number 8. Yes, it's huge, big mammal. He's a big.
Yeah, no. I saw some. Do you remember I put some pictures in the chat? He looks like a big old boy, right?
Yeah, Bath. He plays for Bath at the moment. S03X16. Albanese in the
back rows, man. Like we've
yeah.
still got Odias in and Etal to come through, but we've got like our back row.
No, the positive net positive on the work there. We need to figure out more backs, more tre quarti, Mike. Always good to have more centers options like that. But
speaking of thoughts,
so no,
on the spot.
There is a center that is gonna miss the game against us, and there is a lock that is gonna miss, which is Tui Pulotu and Scott Cummings. 2 big blows for Scotland in this game. It's gonna help us, Mike. Are we gonna be more confident there to go play for the first game?
Well, Menoncello played when he played against Redpath. He did well, right? So
when I thought about Redpath, that my thought went there. Okay, I remember the game of Redpath against us.
Yeah. So also like him and Menoncello had like a game within a game, right? They were fighting. They were like, yeah, I don't know, man. I obviously Tui Pulotu was probably the informed, most complete center, maybe in the world at the moment. Like, and I don't think that's an unfair statement. Probably in the world, to be honest, he's probably the most complete player. Like his kick, his defense, his running at the line, his rugby IQ, his passing, he's just such a complete player. But then they also have Finn. So as we were speaking about the Zebre crossfield kicks, right? Like just because Tui Pulotu's not there doesn't mean that they won't get the ball out to Graham Darcy or Van der Merwe or Blair Kinghorn.
Kinghorn, my God,
Kinghorn,
he can play 12. Maledetto. He can play wherever.
Yeah. Man, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you cut off the head to a snake to grow, mate. Like, this is the way it is.
I think Phil Russell, his Scotland debut was against us, and he came in as a 12.
I don't remember that. I'm sure you're right, but I don't remember that.
No,
I remember one year we were disrespected, and they had what's his face? Who's that? Who's the idiot fullback? The one with the fake teeth and the fake hair. The disgusting human. What's his name?
Was Lamont? No, was Lamont the Scotland?
No. He was captain.
Yeah.
He's just
okay.
What's his name? The arsehole. He's gone to
yeah. Oh my God.
You know what I'm on about. You know what I'm on about, right? I can't remember his name. Probably best we forget his name with everything that's gone on. And
the guy that went to Turkey.
Yeah. Turkey teeth, turkey hair.
Guys, tell us who is. Oh my God.
Yeah, guys. Guess who we're talking about? But he played at 10. Do you remember that year? Do you remember that year? They played him at 10 just to disrespect us at our absolute worst. They played that little
Stuart Hogg.
Mate, I didn't want to say his name, but yes, him, right?
No, literally. I remember he went to Turkey for his head.
Yeah.
I know he's an ass. But
Yeah. But they played him at 10. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember that game they played him at 10 against? Mate, disrespect.
No, there is something, but so we're gonna be hard on that, and let's see how it's gonna go. But a couple of interesting games for us. The first two, I'm really excited to see how we're gonna turn on these two.
Yeah, man. I know. Obviously, we're going to be doing a full sort of preview shortly.
But teams are what to expect from them. But yeah, there are going to be a lot. But just to underline again and again, this match won by Benetton was can be really pushing and switching the club future of the season, but also for the Italian team. I think it gives a lot more confidence when you wanna play against France again. I know this year there's gonna be Dupont, but still.
Yeah. Well, that is that, isn't it? I was going to say, I think like you just echoing what you're saying, coming of age. Let's hope that it's something where the team kicks on, the players take confidence, they take it into the first and second game of the Six Nations and beyond. But yeah, man, like it's a lot to be excited about. I did want to ask you quickly. Obviously, we've got Belloni, who has been, joined the squad, the 34 selected as an as like a what do we call him? An apprentice, like an invitee. Quick few words, from your eye on this player. Like, what was it that we, the non-Italian fans should be excited about?
It's a big guy. First of all, it's a big guy. Him, like also Eletri and his brother to the other Belloni. They're big guys, really elegant in the run. They can find a break easily, and they're pretty confident ball in hands, and that is gonna help. They're smart guys, smart kid that they are growing properly, and they're finding their spot in the Italian best level, club level, before the franchise. What we should do with players like him and like other players that are coming, because think about it, there are 4 players from Rugby Paese, like Miranda, Casertelli. Those guys are all part of the Benetton Academy. They spread around, but what these guys need is the best level possible with other team of the same age, or going into mini franchise and playing against the Black Lions. Yes, I'm all in with the prospect, the best prospect we have, to push him in that way, to find international games, club international games, national team, second team, club. Just put them, they have to be exposed to talent of other teams.
Yeah,
to get better and better. That's for me is key in the way they can.
I think you hit the nail on the head, mate. I think, like, for us, the issue's always been, where do these boys get game time? How are we going to get them to develop? How are we going to, progress their careers from the under 20s, where they've been, successful, or at least have shown promise, right? Those questions haven't been answered, and it's nice to see that we are looking at different pathways to try and achieve what realistically we've failed on as a nation, probably for the past 5 years, where we've had very competitive, or more actually, like maybe from 2017.
We lose a lot of time, Mike. We have lost a lot of time.
So much time. We're coming up to 10 years since we've had a competitive under 20s. That's crazy, man. Like 10 years. So the players that were playing under 20s 10 years ago are going to be 30 now. So we've lost a whole generation of players because we haven't been good at transitioning players. That's an issue, mate.
That would and the rugby offer for a player to switch as a pro. Because think about Albanese, one of the best prospects we lost for other reasons. Maybe if the welfare for them was different, maybe we didn't lose him, or other players.
You know what? I would love to see the stats, right, on player retention for Scotland, because like they haven't been producing fantastic players, but the players that they have been producing of talent, and I remember Darge as the only one from a couple of years back. Like they've accelerated his growth. They've given him time to grow. Like, and now they're in a position there. Realistically, the worst thing we could have done is get rid of like O'Shea based on how he views the game and stuff. And like listening to some of the podcasts that he has, man, like that guy has vision for the future, and that's something where I feel like we've lacked that imagination. We need someone to come in that understands what those pathways look like and how to get those players to get game time and develop. But we need that as a team. We need that as a nation, right? To take the next step. And I think, like you said, Otto, we're running out of time, mate.
We're running out of time if we don't pick those situations. We face those issues and say, okay, we have to really dig into it to change because it's really hard. And also, man, sometimes I think maybe too many foreign players coming in Italy in the club, lowest level too, because you don't need, to be honest, in the Serie C, Serie B, maybe foreign players. You should be able to push in some way a team that can live on themselves. Like the club need to develop players for the club. So that is more than just calling a lot of Argentinians, which are good. But in that way, you take spots just because maybe there is some crazy president that wants, okay, in 2 years we're gonna be in Serie B, we're gonna move up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do something for 5 years to develop player for my under 16, pushing from before, changing the pathway. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna call 4 Argentinians and then it's gonna be good.
Otto, Exeter, what you just described, right? Like where they were like, okay, well, let's focus on the development of our academy. Admittedly, they stole from Cornwall, but like they were just like, okay, right, let's focus on that. And then they go up the leagues, and then they do the double in 2017.
Yeah,
I can't remember when it was, but like, do you know what I mean? Like that's exactly right, Otto, because it's the cheaper option. Like we can't afford to be like France to buy all of these players, and who cares if they leave? Because like you said, they're taking spots from people that need minutes developing. One. The second point is this. The second point is, what's the point in having an academy if you're just going to be doing that anyway? Right. So as much as I don't agree with a lot of what Duardo says, some of it I 100% agree. If you're going to get paid a premium, if you're getting paid more than a player that's been promoted from the academy, fine, right? In which case you need to be offering more. There's no problem with that. But the problem is, what are they delivering? And if they're not adding, then they're taking away. And that's part of the issue. And that's part of like the formula that we need to solve for the next, development of Italian rugby. And I think, it's something where the conversation we have a lot of. We always come back to this, but you know what I mean.
Phantom, this is the answer for what I'm saying about the Argentinians. They can be good, but in lowest leagues, you don't need to call them and pay money to them. Get a better gym, pay a better physio, do something different, and then
better
you
coaching,
go to Argentina, better coaching.
Yeah,
an Argentinian coach maybe because they're good too, but because they have a style, depends.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I would rather, and I think I've said this to you before, I would rather we spend £1 million on like a top coach than have a marquee player in Zebre. As an example, right? Like, and no diss to Brunello because I think he is a top coach, but you know what I'm trying to say. I would rather the money that gets spent
money wisely,
because the players there are good enough. They just need the opportunity. They need to develop. They need all of that stuff, right? So like,
you don't need a Mills Mugliaina. Talking about Zebre, for example. You need something else, maybe.
Yeah. Like let's say we had the money for semi, right? We don't need a semi. What we need is someone who can develop the players to become as good as semi. That's what we need.
Other centers, right?
Yeah,
that's true. That's absolutely true. Talk about players. Riccardo Tizzano, brother of Carlo Tizzano, is joining Benetton team under 20 academy, whatever. Let's see where he's gonna go play. He's number 9. I think it's under 20. So under
nice.
18, 19.
So young enough to learn Italian before the next World Cup. Nice.
With meatballs and Vegemite, yes, absolutely. And the good thing is a number 9, Mike. He's a number 9. He used to play
Moldstein.
also Australian football, AFL, which is always cool too. Maybe
man.
Salvador Brex. Salvador Brex. We need un Brexo, but with CS, like an Italian Brex. We have to find that, yes. Which is Marine, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. Brex was sensational at the weekend as well. Like, there's so many players that we could, there's so many players that you should call up, but it's nice to be in that position to have the, it's not carried by one player. Like, it's not Albornoz magic, or it's not, Rhino Smith magic. It was a complete match from 1 to 15, and when the bench came on, they did their bit.
So, congratulations again for the victory to Seb and all the Benetton team, because that was fantastic, and good luck for the next of the season, of course, for them and for Zebre. But now it's time also to start cheering harder for the Italians, for the Azzurri, because Six Nations is coming. It's really, really close. And Mike, hopefully everything's gonna be all right with training, no more injuries. We're gonna go to Padre Pio to turn light a candle to the Vatican for the Jubilee, asking for the Grazia.
Let's hope, mate. Let's hope.
Bene. Mike, thank you again for being here with us. Thank you, Phantom, cooking fusilli with Caccolo, with Chris up there, and the other ones, Federico, Kips, and company. Thank you for being with us. And Mike, see you next week.
Let's go.
Dai, ciao a tutti. See you, and keep listening, Fratelli di Rugby podcast. Put a like, comment, and let us know what you think about down there. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Fratelli the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. Fratelli the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast.